Something I mentioned a couple of weeks ago was actually wagon loads. In my great 00 gauge wagon rant-a-thon, I went on this massive tangent about what I think makes a good wagon and what I think doesn't. Something that I mentioned that I really like is wagons with loads. It just sort of ties everything together. Here's one I made earlier, mate. She's tidy, she's good. This is removable. And I figure I'll show how I make mine. I'm not going to weather the wagon, I'm only going to do the load. So here we are, mate. We got a cable drum, 2 grates, a little bit of blue tack, a D, a da, da, and yeah, done. Video's over. You can go. Nah, I'm joking. The way I make my wagon loads, mainly coal, is using this stuff here. This is just like crappy polystyrene for packing material. We're gonna make a load for this guy here. All I do is I take the wagon, line up with this corner here, and just push. This gives me an indent of the wagon, so I can just take my saw and cut along that quickly. If you're gonna do like a tarp or something, now you can cut it into like boxes or some random load and then glue it down. But I'm not doing tarps. I really want to do some tarps at some point, but not today. This is just gonna be a coal load. The big problem with this now is that it's too tall. So if I cut it by this, she's still a little too tight. So I'm just gonna trim a little more. I don't really like it when it's perfectly uniform all the way across. Coal loads were never that. They're always a little bit squiggly. So let's make this little squiggly. Now I need a little paint and a brush. I'm just going to quickly paint this black. Doesn't matter if you do a good job of painting it, as long as it's all covered. It's actually a really good idea to get the sides, or at least the top half of the sides, just so if there's any little gaps, you won't see any white underneath. And it's a really good idea not to get paint on your fingers. Alright, it's dry enough now. Stuff I use for coal is this. It is actual coal, just crushed up into a little baggie. Just gonna take some glue and just smother it all over. The beauty of using real coal is it looks stinking excellent. Sometimes some of these bigger bits make their way in. I don't like them being there, so I just take them out. Big bits can go away. At this point now, it's generally just the boring bit waiting for the glue to dry. And while it actually dries, I like to just rest it in the wagon just so it can't really slump all over the place. It leaves a little residue on the wagon, but it's PVA, so it sort of just scrapes off pretty easily. Just need to tip all the excess off. Oh, doesn't much. I hope you can sort of see what I mean. There's a slight curve in it, so it's not unnatural looking. I've done loads before where I've just had it flat in there and it just doesn't look right. But I'm pretty happy with this. Usually I'll sprinkle on like coal dust afterwards just to give it a little bit of shine, but for a minute I'm happy enough with it. I'm not going to weather it because while I want to use this wagon for other stuff, same goes for this. They're going to be in separate videos for separate ideas, but I need to leave these two relatively plain for a minute. I'll weather this at some point. I already started it, so I haven't finished it. You know, I like to pick out the frames and then dirty it all up, but I need to finish that. I really like how these can turn out just by just doing a basic coal load and then just dirtying them. This is only for coal loads, and you know, joke wagon there. It only really works on coal loads, at least for me, the way I do it. I think you can get away with tarps and stuff by using the polystyrene and then just sort of shaping it and then putting the cloth or whatever you're using as a tarp over. I made this years ago out of an old crappy Triumph brake fan and just an old bit of cloth. I think this was actually a nurse's uniform that I cut up, and I think it looks fine. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it has that sort of ratty look that suits a tarp. So potentially that can work for wagon loads. I want to experiment more with doing different types of loads. Like I want to do ballast, sand loads. I imagine it's the same principle as this. You just do the polystyrene, paint it whatever color you're painting it, put the glue on, and yeah. I've done some before where I've actually used lead as the base and then just put the sand on top, but I've had mixed results. I really want to learn how to make little crates and stuff out of matches and coffee syrup sticks. I think that'd be a really cool video to do at a later date, but that's for a later date. So I hope you enjoyed this video, because I actually quite enjoyed making another one of these coal loads. I aim to upload every single Saturday. Next week's video is going to be a pretty fun one, because we're off to Barry and Penarth. They got a model railway show on, and I think it'll be relatively fun to go have a little nose. Something I want to start doing on my Instagram, which I've never mentioned before on this channel, is that I want to do photos where I show lots of the stuff I buy for model railways. There will be exceptions. Stuff that I buy just for videos I won't show. I've got a stack of magazines. I'm not going to say anything more about them, but I want to save them for like special videos. I want to flip through and have a quick laugh. But I'm not going to say anything about them. I'm not going to say what age they are, what layouts are in it. I'm not going to say anything. It's sort of just a complete surprise what's actually in them. I've been collecting them for a little bit now just to get a nice stack so I can get a good few videos out of them, because I really do hope people enjoy that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for you this week. I really do hope you enjoyed, and hopefully see you next week. Bye bye for now.